So, good day to grade 8 students. Today we have selected a past paper 2018 Western Province second term test paper to discuss with you all. So, this will be helpful for you to get good marks for your upcoming second term test. So, we will go through question by question and try to refresh our knowledge as much as possible regarding whatever the theories we have learned in this year. So, coming to the first question, asking us write the next two terms of the given number pattern. So, what are the numbers given in this number pattern? So, we have given 4 and 9 and then 14 and then 19. So, we have 4 terms in this number pattern. So, asking us the fifth term of this number pattern and also the sixth term of this number pattern. Right. So, it's clear for us, once you add another 5 for 4, you will be getting 9. So, 9 plus 5 gives you 14. 14 plus 5 is 19. So, we are clear in terms of the number pattern here. Right. So, to get the next term of this number pattern, what we have to do is very simple. Let's add another 5 for this number 19. So, 19 plus 5 gives you 24, right? The sixth term will be 24 plus 5, which is equals to 29. So, the answers for this question is question number 1. Answer for the question is 24 and 29, right? Moving on to the second question. Question number 2. What it is asked? Write the suitable value for the blank. Write the suitable value for the blank. Question is from the lesson directed numbers. Right. So, the question is minus 5 minus plus 3. Minus 5 minus plus 3. So, how to get the answer? Can you remember the term additive inverse? So, when it comes to subtraction of two directed numbers, we have to use the additive inverse of the second number. So, I am not going to do any change for this number minus 5. I am writing it, keeping it as it is. Now, when it comes to the second operation, right, next operation, instead of subtraction, what I can do is, I can change the mathematical operation into an addition. Then after that, we have to take the additive inverse of this second number. So, when you consider the additive inverse of positive 3, can you remember? So, what is the additive inverse of positive 3? Yes, the additive inverse of positive 3 is negative 3. So, since we have changed the mathematical operation here to subtraction from addition from subtraction, so you need to make sure you are taking the additive inverse of positive 3, which is negative 3. Right. Now, the question has become addition of two directed numbers. Right. Negative 5 plus negative 3. So, once you add these two negative numbers together, can you remember what is the answer? Answer is negative 8. Negative 8. Right. So, I want all of you to try these questions by yourself. If you add positive 5 and positive 3 together, what is the answer? If you add negative 5 and negative 3 together, then what is the answer? Positive 5 plus negative 3. What will be the answer? Negative 5 plus positive 3. Right? So, what will be the answer? Can you remember? So, we have learned these kind of questions during our lessons as well. Let's quickly write the answers for these questions. Right? So, the first question, positive 5 plus positive 3, answer is positive 8. Positive 5 plus positive 3, answer is positive 8. What happens when you adding negative number along with a negative number? So negative 5 plus negative 3 will be a negative answer. Answer is negative 8. Right? So these are the question patterns. Next question, positive 5 plus negative 3. Right? So if you only looking at the number without the direction, the larger number is 5. So let's put the direction of the larger number, which is positive. Now instead of addition, you have to take the difference between the larger number and the small number. So 5 minus 3, the answer is 2. So this is how we got the answer for this kind of a question. So if you follow the process for this question, minus 5 plus positive 3, the larger number without the direction is 5. So the symbol of that number is negative. So 5 minus 3 gives you number 2. Final answer is minus 2. Right? So when you preparing for your term test, just check how to represent these answers using a number line as well. Try to represent these answers using a number line as well. Alright? Okay, we will be moving into question number 3. So question number 3 is an equation. Solve this equation 3x minus 4. Solve this equation 3x minus 4. Right. So this is an equation. Let's write the equation again. 3x minus 4 equals 5. 3x minus 4 equals 5. Right. So in order to subtract this number 4, in order to remove this number 4 from my left hand side, what I have to do is I need to add 4 for both the sides. So I'm adding a 4 to left hand side, so that I'm adding a 4 to right hand side as well. So we have to do the same thing, right? Whatever the thing you are doing for the left hand side in an equation, to be done to the right hand side of the equation as well. Right. Now what happens? Minus 4 plus 4 is equals to 0. You will be only having 3 times x in your left hand side. So 5 plus 4 is equals to 9. So the mathematical operation you have in between 3 and x is multiplication. So the opposite mathematical operation for multiplication is division. So what we have to do is, you have to divide both of the sides of this equation by 3, because my aim is I want to remove number 3 from the left hand side of the equation. 3 divided by 3 equals to 1. 1 times x is equals to x. 9 divided by 3 gives you 3. Therefore, x is equals to 3. X is equals to 3. Find the side length of a cube with the perimeter of a face 24 centimeters. Right? Pute. Right. We need to draw a cube. Right? So let's quickly draw a cube. Do we have cubes here? No. Right. Right. Let's consider this cube. Right. But there is a cube. There is a cube. Now, when it comes to a cube, what is the shape of a face of a cube? Right? When you considering a shape of a face of a cube, it is a square. Right? Shape of the face of a cube is a square. Right? Now, when you consider the perimeter of a face of this cube, let's consider the perimeter of one face of this cube, right? When you consider this square, according to the question given, it says perimeter of a face is 24 centimeters, right? So this is a square. All the sides shall we consider it as x, right? So 4 times x is equals to 24 according to the question, asking us length of a side of this cube. Length of a side of this cube. Very simple. What we have to do is, you have to divide the perimeter from total amount of sides. So 24 divided by 4 is equals to 6. So the length of a side of this perimeter is equals to 6 centimeters. Length of a side of this cube is equals to 6 centimeters. Is that clear enough? Am I clear enough? Alright. Right. Moving on. Question number 5. In time related problems, what are the special names given to 0 longitude and 180 longitude, right? So we have not completed this lesson for the moment, right? But just for your information, let me write the answers. So we have not completed this lesson yet. Don't worry, we will be completing all the lessons before your exam, right? Alright, this 0 degree longitude, Pute, right? This is calling as Greenwich, right? This is calling as Greenwich meridian. This is calling as the Greenwich meridian. Hurry. This is calling as the Greenwich meridian, right? This 180 degree longitude is calling as the international. This is calling as the international. This is calling as the international. What do you think? This is calling as the international date line. This is calling as the international date line, right? So don't worry about these things. We will be learning these things as well very soon. Okay. Moving on. Question number 6. 1/5 of a land is belongs to Siripala. Express it as a percentage of the whole land, right? So Siripala owns a land, right? Siripala owns a land. The amount of land he is having is 1/5 from the total, right? The amount of land Siripala is having. So this is Siripala, right? So the amount of land Siripala is having is 1/5 from the total amount. Express it as a percentage of the whole land. Pute. Now when it comes to the lesson percentage, can you remember what is a percentage? Simply a percentage is a fraction. Simply a percentage is a fraction which the denominator equals to 100, right? Percentage is a fraction which the denominator is equals to 100, right? Can't we convert this fraction into a fraction where the denominator equals to 100? Can't we convert this fraction into a fraction where the denominator is equals to 100? Equivalent fractions, can you remember? So let's multiply 5 by 20. 5 into 20 gives you 100. Let's multiply 1 also by 20, because when it comes to equivalent fractions, if you multiply the denominator by a number, you need to make sure that you are multiplying the numerator of that fraction also by the same number. So here I have multiplied 5 by 20. So let's multiply the numerator, which is 1 also, by 20. So 1 times 20 is 20. 5 times 20 is 100. Now we have this fraction where the denominator equals to 100. Right. Now we can represent this fraction as a percentage, as 20%. Answer for the question is 20%. I hope you are clear on this question. I hope you are clear on this question. Right, moving on, question number 7. According to the figure, what angle is equals to B? Right, let's consider this angle B. Right, what angle is equals to B? Can you tell me the answer? Yes, this B angle, the magnitude of the angle B is equals to magnitude of the angle D. B, the magnitude of angle B equals to magnitude of the angle D. Right, next question. What do you call such pair of angles? What do you call such pair of angles? These kind of angles are having a special name. Can you remember? These are calling as vertically opposite angles. These are calling as vertically opposite angles. I hope you are clear. A is a set. The elements of the set is given as there is a element for this particular set, right? So the element given in the set is equals to 0. Asking us a question. Is A null set? Is A null set? What do you think? What does it mean by the term null set? What does it mean by the term null set? Can you remember? What is a null set? A null set is a set where you do not have any elements. In a null set, there is no any element, right? If it is a null set, we don't have elements in that set. Can I tell you an example? Right, let's consider the set B. Set B is, let's say, multiples of 10 between 0 and 5. Multiples of 10 between 0 and 5. Do you have elements for this set? Do we have multiples of 10? Yes, what are multiples of 10? 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. Those are multiples of 10. But do we have multiples of 10 in between 0 and 5? Do we have multiples of 10 in between 0 and 5? No, we don't have any multiple of 10 in between 0 and 5. So this set is a set where you do not have any element. That kind of a set is calling as a null set. But when it comes to this example, please pay attention on this question. We have an element as 0. 0 is an element. 0 does not represent, you don't have any elements. That is not the case, right? 0 is an element in this set, right? What do you think? How many elements are there in this set? We have one element. What is that element? That element is 1. Therefore, this set is having an element, so that this is not a null set, right? So can we consider this as a null set? No. What is the reason? This set is having elements. This set is having one element, therefore this given set is not a null set. Alright, question number 9, right? When P is equals to 4, find the value of this given algebraic expression. 3 times 2p minus 4, right? So the value of p here equals to 4, right? Let's substitute the value of 4 to this given equation, not an equation, sorry, to this given algebraic expression and try to get the answer, right? So the value of p according to the question is equals to 4, p equals 4, right? So 3 times 2p means you have to multiply 2 by, now the value of p is 4, then subtracting 4, right? Let's be careful when you doing these mathematical operations. So the first mathematical operation you have to do inside the brackets is this multiplication. So 2 times 4 gives you 8. After that only you can subtract 4, right? Again, so you have to complete the calculations inside the brackets first. 8 minus 4 is 4. So 3 multiplying by 4 now, answer is 12. So 3 times 4 gives you 12, right? So 2 into 4 is 8. 2 into 4 is 8. 8 minus 4 is 4. 4 times 3 is 12. Answer is 12. Answer is 12. Question number 10 is from very important lesson, right? Asking us to find out the highest common factor for 30 and 45. Asking us to find the highest common factor for 30 and 45. So there are 3 methods to find out the highest common factor for given numbers. Let's try one method here, 30 and 45, right? Let me write this number 30 as a product of its prime factors. So how to write 30 as a product of its prime factors? So we have to start divide this 30 from the prime factors. So the smallest prime number, the prime factor is 2. So let's divide 30 by 2. 30 dividing by 2, answer is 15. Now 15 we cannot divide it again by 2. Right, now what is the next prime number you have after 2? Yes, it's 3. So shall we divide 15 by 3? Correct. Answer is 5. 5 is divisible by 5. 5 is also a prime factor. So that is equals to 1. So that I can write 30 is as equals to 2 into 3 into 5. So in the same way, shall we write this number 45 as product of its prime factors? 45 is an odd number, not divisible by 2. Let's divide it by 3. 45 divided by 3 is 15. Dividing 15 again by 3, answer is 5. Now the next prime number you can divide 5 is 5. So let's divide 5 by 5. 5 divided by 5 is 1. So that we can write, yes, 45 equals 3 times 5. 3 times 5. So asking us the highest common factor, shall we divide this number? Yes, shall we divide this number? Wait. Right, asking us the highest common factor. So what are the commonly available numbers? 2 is a commonly available number for both these numbers. 5 is a commonly available number for both these numbers, right? So how to calculate the highest common factor? HCF. Highest common factor of 30 and 45 will be equals this number 3 into this number 5. So 3 times 5 is 15. Put the highest common factor is 15. The highest common factor is 15. Alright. So what if it's asked us to find out LCM, the least common multiple? If it is asking us to find the least common multiple, how are we going to find out LCM? After selecting these common numbers, you have to consider the isolated numbers as well. So here the LCM of 30 and 45 is equals, again 3 times 5. After that we have this number 2. After that we have this number 3. 3 times 5, 15 times 2 is 30 times 3 is 90. So the least common multiple of these two numbers will be equals to 90. right? So we discussed about LCM and also HCF. Alright, moving on. Question number 11 is from the lesson square root. Pute, 225 equals to given as 3 times 3 and 5 times 5. So asking us to find out the square root of 225. Asking us to find out the square root of 225. So what we can do? Let's take the square root of both the sides. Considering square root of left hand side of the equation, let's write the square root of right hand side of the equation as well. Right. Alright, we have done up until here. Right. This 3 times 3 I can write it as second power of 3. 5 times 5 I can write it as second power of 5. Second power of 3 into second power of 5. Right. Now what happens when you considering? Yes. What happened when you considering the square root along with this second power, this square root symbol also removing. Along with this second power, the square root symbol also removing. Alright, so we have removed the square root symbol along with the second powers. So what you will be have in the answer is 3 and 5. So 3 times 5 gives you the answer. So the square root of 225, is equals to 15. That is equals to 15. Is that correct? Right? So try by yourself to find out different square roots. Okay? Alright. That is about question number 11. Question number 12. Find the area of the figure. Pute, find the area of the figure. This figure is actually calling as a trapezium, right? This is a trapezium, but when in grade 8 we still do not know how to find the area of a trapezium. We know how to find the area of a triangle. We know how to find the area of a square, right? Let's consider this as a composite figure. Let me name the first figure this as a square. This should be a square. This is a square. Let's consider this second one as a triangle, right? Shall we find out the area of the square separately and the area of the triangle separately? Let's find out the area of the square separately and the area of the triangle separately. Okay, right. Okay, area of the square. Area of the square. Area of the square equals length of a side multiplying by length of a side. So 5 times 5. Area of the square will be given. Area of the square is equals to 25 square centimeters. Area of the square is equals to 25 square centimeters. Right. Pute. Now the distance from here to here is also 5. Right. When you consider this triangle, what is the length of this side? Correct? What is the length of this side? Length of this side is, we have to consider it as 6 centimeters. Right? We have to consider it as 6 centimeters. Alright. Shall we consider this triangle quickly? May? We have a triangle like this. Can you all help me to get the answer? Hari, may balanna. Right? This is a 90-degree angle. This is 6 centimeters. This is 5 centimeters. Harida, 6 centimeters and 5 centimeters. Right. How to calculate the area of the triangle? Area of the triangle, right? Area of this triangle is equals to half into base is 5. Sorry, base is 6. Perpendicular height is 5. Perpendicular height is 5. So 6 times 5 is 30. 6 times 5 is 30. 30 divided by 2 gives you 15. So the area of the triangle is 15 square centimeters. Area of the triangle is 15 square centimeters. Right. Shall we calculate out the area of the composite figure? Area of composite figure. Area of composite figure. Right? How to calculate the area of composite figure? Yes. Now the area of composite figure will be the sum of these two numbers, right? So area of the composite figure will be the sum of these two numbers, right? So area of the square is 25. Area of the triangle is 15. So 25 plus 15 is 40 square centimeters, right? 40 square centimeters. Is that correct? Right? So if you know how to find out the area of a trapezium, you will get the area of the trapezium using this equation. මෙහෙම ගන්නත් පුළුවන්. හරි? Right. Okay. Right. Shall we try to right. Okay. Let's complete this one first. Right. So half times මේක දන්නේ නැති එකක් මම නිකන් කරන්නේ හොඳේ. Right. So this 16 divided by 2 is 8. 8 times 5 also 40. Right. So we will be learning how to find out the area of a trapezium later. Okay. Right. So the answer for this question is 40 square centimeters. Right. All right. Moving on. Let's move on to the next question. Question number 13. Factorize this given algebraic expression. May balanna. We have ax, then plus ay, then plus 3x, then plus 3y. Ax plus ay plus 3x plus 3y. Asking us to factorize, right? When you consider the first two terms, so do we have a common factor here? Yes, this term a is a common factor. What we can put inside the brackets, once you remove a from here, you will have x. Once you remove a from here, you will have positive y. Now when you consider the second two terms, do we have a common factor again for the next two terms? Yes, positive 3 is a common factor. So let's take positive 3 out. We will be having x plus y because x will be coming from here, y is coming from here. Right. Pute, now the expression converted into an expression where we have two terms. A times x plus y is one term. 3 times x plus y is another term. Right. There is a common factor for both the terms as x plus y. Let's take this x plus y out. What will be remaining now? Once you take this x plus y out, the only term remaining on the first term is a. Once you remove this x plus y out, the term remaining from the second term is 3. So it will also become a factor. So we can factorize this algebraic expression as x plus y times a plus 3. X plus y times a plus 3. Alright, moving on. Right, so I have skipped question number 14 because it is from the lesson time. We have not completed that lesson. So we'll skip that question for a moment and shall we discuss this question. Marks obtained by a student from mathematics assessment is 60%. Hari, this is 60%, right? Express this as a fraction in simplest form. 60% as a fraction, 60 over 100, right? Using the theories, the knowledge about equivalent fractions, we can divide 60 and 100. What is the largest number that you can divide 60 and 100? Let's divide 60 by 20, correct? Let's divide 100 also by 20, correct? 60 divided by 20 is 3. 100 divided by 20 is 5. So the simplest version of the fraction is 3 over 5. Alright, okay, alright. So with that question, I think we can conclude the session for the day today, right? So there are another 5 more questions for the first paper, and also we need to discuss the second paper as well. So we'll meet again in a different day to discuss the rest of the questions in this paper, right? So my request is to go through these 15 questions again, refresh your knowledge about what we have learned throughout this year, right? And let's get prepared for the second term test well, and I want all of you to get very good marks for your second term test. Alright kids, let's see you again on another separate day, right? And we'll discuss few more questions again as well. Alright then, see you and goodbye.